dissertation is on, right? That's a trip. That's why I
Okay.
say you cannot make this stuff up, people.
Yeah, and we laugh. We laugh. So yeah. So
Constructive love or destructive love? Wow.
right, because today that I made
My,
on,
huh?
and we having so many oh my goodness.
Mm.
The status was I read it to you. It says net you from segment that constructive womb and destructive womb. And
Mm.
then I this everybody know because in 2024 or 2025 marks in calendar their teachings that we would be in the age of Aquarius.
Right.
Oh, we actually cosmically went into the age of Aquarius on December 21st, 2020, right?
Oh.
But
Okay.
it takes time for the below to actually feel the effects of the above.
Oh,
Does that make
okay.
sense?
Yes.
Right. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in the heavens.
Right. Right.
So
Like the
the
celestials.
heaven, right. So the heavenly mantra of I know it became full in full effect on the eclipse.
Mm. Okay. Wow. The one the other day.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Mm.
So see
Okay.
the cosmic conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that took place on 12/21/2020,
Mm-hmm.
right, was the us going into Aquarius
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because Saturn is Satan.
Right. Right.
That's what the axiom, if you remember, I did a Facebook Live in 2020 explaining the axiom of get behind me, Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that Peter was Satan because Peter was Saturn and Peter was Aquarius.
I see you.
And I go
Mhm.
in between, I go in between it to say sometimes Peter is Aquarius and sometimes Peter is Capricorn.
Right. I saw
Right.
that in your book. Mm-hmm.
Right. So and that's why the church on this rock, because the word Peter comes from Petros in
Mm-hmm.
Greek, but Peter is also Pater, which
Mm-hmm.
means father,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the father is Saturn. Saturn is the L of the Old Testament, right? But
Mm.
anyway, um,
I didn't realize Saturn was ill. I don't know.
mhm,
Mhm.
yep, yep. So that's why Saturn wants to, or L wants the sacrifices. See,
Right.
you
Got
see
you.
what I mean? Like when you start to go back in different periods during different cultures, like before it was Saturn, it was Uranus.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So that's why Dr. York in his teachings he explained that Anu was the most high, but Anu is in the middle of Uranus.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. Mm-hmm.
Right. And when you say heaven in Greek, it's Oranos,
Mm. Okay.
which some people say that's Orion, some people say that's Uranus.
Right.
But
Right.
before Saturn became quote unquote the most high or the father god in certain teachings
Mm-hmm.
because Saturn is where you get Chronos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is
Okay,
illustrated by the old man in movies.
right. But Chronos is where you get chronological, right? The book of Chronicles,
Okay.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
anything that is dealing with chronology is dealing with Saturn or Father Time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the people that rhyme with news and blues, they use the 6 pointed star because it's
Mm.
symbolic of Saturn.
Okay.
So the 6 pointed star is symbolic of Saturn,
Mm-hmm.
5 pointed star is symbolic of Venus.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So what's 6 plus 5? 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes L even 11.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
You dig
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and L is God. So that's what makes God even, the
Mm-hmm.
5 and the 6. And
Mm.
Judaism is ruled by 6. Islam is ruled by 5. Christianity is ruled by 4.
Mm.
So that's why the glyph of Jupiter looks like the number 4.
Mm. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so when you look at the glyph of Jupiter, it looks like the number 4 because Jesus is Jupiter. Jesus is J Zeus or Hey Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
Zeus.
Jupiter, you mean in the Hebrew alphabet?
No, I mean when you start to understand. So every story in the ancient teachings had multiple levels of interpretations or it was
Mm-hmm.
ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when you look at ancient Kemet, the reason why to me Kemet is the most complete spiritual system is because you have all of the sacred teachings. You still have the remnants of it and the evidence of it
Mm-hmm.
because all sacred wisdom, divine wisdom, and what we consider to be spiritual teachings are always teaching you about the microcosm, which is you and its connection to the macrocosm.
Mm-hmm.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
As above, so below,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
even when you look at a pyramid, it's a pyramid above ground, but it's also a pyramid below ground.
Right. Okay. Which is the two pyramids that compose that star, the
Right.
six
Two,
pointed
yeah,
star.
because it's like right. And also it's a cube,
Mm-hmm.
which when you understand the teachings, the Merkaba or Nibiru supposed to travel as a cube. And this is why you have a cube in Mecca that they call the Kaaba.
Right. Right. I remember you
Right.
talked about that in
Okay.
your book as well. Uh-huh. Hmm.
And when you say Ka, you saying spirit, and when you say Ba, you saying soul.
Yes. From the
Okay.
ancient
So
Egyptian Metin.
understand that um and you look at they taught what promoticized everything to explain certain stuff. And now that I like have a better understanding, it makes sense to me why my granny, like if somebody was finna die, my granny would be like such and such, Mr. Jimmy finna die.
Hello?
Wow. I don't know what happened.
It's
Can
all
you hear
right.
me?
All is well.
Listen,
Just the
StreamYard been giving
technical
me the blues.
difficulties.
StreamYard been giving me the blues tonight. So we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop talking about everything else, and we just gonna talk about uh the the topic, which is, are you constructive or destructive? Because I see a lot of conversations, and I see like a lot of male and female bashing and a lot of gender wars, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen like how, like, I've watched the different eras. Like I watched the Tommy Sotomayor era, I watched the Kevin Samuels era, which all of these people are plants, you know what I'm saying? And like people don't get it. Derek Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these people that they place out there in the platforms, and they polarize these people. Like, I don't understand, ladies, if you mad at Kevin Samuels, you should have been mad at Jackson.
Who else?
Like,
You said you mad at Kevin Samuels, who they should have been mad
you
at?
should be mad at Derek Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
because Derek Jackson was the dude that was bashing men.
Mm.
You see what I'm
What?
saying? So it's like, yeah, and it's like, uh, ever let your human experiences be used against you,
Mm-hmm.
because
Right.
you have to have the experiences. You came here for the experience. Like, people cry about shit that happened in life instead of understanding that thing is like life is happening to you, but it's actually happening for you.
Okay. I see. As a
You
teaching.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
it's like you came here, and we made a choice to come. We was on the other side. We made a choice to come. We chose them as me. So it's like, when we begin to understand and realize, like, all of these mechanisms of division are only a part of the chaos that those that keep us or want to keep us from knowing and overstanding and understanding. This is why they created, you know, because when you think about it like this, is 1% is ruling 99%, right? You remember that meme that was going around, that it was a chessboard on the backs of melanated people,
I
and it was
remember
like
that.
all
I didn't
these
understand
people
what it meant though.
with all these suits and ties on,
Mhm.
and it was like, if we just stand up, the game is over.
Right.
So it's like, even when you understand, I just talked to my sister about this tonight, my sister Dasa. Um,
Hi,
if you
Darcy.
if you, that the main tenet of COINTELPRO, with what they said, was to stop the rise of a black messiah. And it's like, it's the religious term that throws it all off. It's not
Right.
the person that comes and walks on water.
Mm-hmm.
It's the person that comes to unify
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
galvanize
Mm-hmm.
for a righteous purpose.
Right.
So when people say the messenger don't matter, that's people who don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
why they would put fake messengers in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's an operation. It's a psyop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Nature Boy is for the people that were geared towards the Dr. York philosophy of moving away from society. And so when that game was going on, I was telling people if he really wanted to be away from Babylon and he wanted to escape the Matrix, why is he live streaming from wherever they supposed to be?
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Like that don't make sense. If I'm trying to escape all of this,
Mm-hmm. Then why are they in the midst of it?
right? Because it's all about misdirection of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that Satanists thrive on mind control, Luciferians thrive on the manipulation of energy. And again, that's the 5 and the 6 pointed stars.
Right, because the two pyramids that make up the six-pointed star are the two directions of energy.
Gravity and levity.
Mm-hmm. Gravity and levity.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
absolutely correct. So with the teachings, right? Um, I said in segment, like I wanted to introduce it in this way from an ancestral standpoint because maybe it'll help some of the women comprehend better because I see like so many that use those monikers. Like you see people that have Tahuti, Ma'at, I said, in
Mm-hmm.
their names on social media.
Uh-huh.
So to understand what like because all of those deities really and truthfully like when people understand that these are like universal principles that apply to us. Like in Islam, all of the attributes of Allah can apply to a man or a woman.
Right. Right. The
Right?
99 attributes.
Right. Right. Which when you understand that Islam came after Judaism, and in Judaism there was 72 names, and then both came after Hinduism, and then in Hinduism you actually had two different um concepts. You had what was called the 27 nakshatras, which are actually what's called lunar mansions or the lunar houses, and then you also had the 108 names of God that they used. But if you
And it's
look
the
at both,
108, is that solar?
no, I wouldn't say it's solar. I would say it's universal. It's more cosmic.
Oh,
But
okay, I see.
but but the 27 are lunar.
Mm-hmm.
So every day in the 27 or 28-day lunar cycle had a deity connected, or what they call the Nakshatra. Even when you say the word diva, it came from the Hindu teachings. You got your microphone muted. You muted. Your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. You muted it again.
Okay, I think that's better.
Okay. Yeah. That's better.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying is that they both equal 9 though.
Mm-hmm.
So then with 27 and 108, but also 72 equals 9.
Mm-hmm.
But when you add 27 plus 72, you get 99,
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see you.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But the lunar part is where diva comes from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Dina comes from, Diana, Dina, And then in Islam it became Deen Allah, or the Deen.
Mm,
I'm on my Deen.
okay.
But um this shows you that this shows why there's always a crescent moon and a star
Yes.
in Islamic teaching or Islamic symbolism, because the star is the sun and the
Hmm.
crescent moon is the moon.
Hmm. And
Allah.
I think a lot of
AL.
people don't know
A,
that the sun is a star.
right,
Hmm.
right, right.
And you said Allah is with the moon.
It's the sun and the moon.
Mhm. That was one question I did have from your books. I noticed that some, and I guess the answer might be duality, and the male principle and the female principle, because I noticed a lot of things like had the both, like you said, Allah is both the masculine and feminine. Is that what it is?
Yep,
Both principles at play.
just like Yahweh came from Ah and Ray, and Ah is the moon and Ray is the sun.
Right.
They just flipped it.
Okay,
So
I see.
they made Yah good and Way evil,
Uh-huh.
and it should be the other way around.
Mm, really? Let me write
Mhm.
that down. I take notes.
Right. But that's why it's Yahweh in Genesis 3:22 saying, "Behold, man has become like one of us to know good or evil."
I see.
And that's why the skull and bones use 322.
Mm, okay.
And that's why the Boule uses 223.
Mm, I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the birthday of WB Du Bois, I think it is. One of they big time sellouts, I think, is WB Du Bois though. And I
Mhm.
think it was like when they unalived Ahmaud Arbery on 223, they I want to say it was like WB Du
Mhm.
Bois' 153rd birthday.
Mm,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So
Okay.
that was a straight lineup. It was a sacrifice.
Right.
And pretty soon, like in my book, I'm gonna reveal part of it. But they started a foundation down in my hometown when I moved back home, and they basically sacrificed little homie so that they
Mm,
could like create activism down here.
mm.
So they
Okay.
got a 223 foundation, and they got these busters that went on TV and
Mm-hmm.
did their rounds and everything else. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? People popping off their rap career and
mm,
everything else.
mm,
So I ain't got no reason to protect nobody no more.
mm,
And like one of the people that's involved is actually like my flesh and blood. So it's kind of disgusting
mm,
because the
mm.
person is related to me on my sperm donor side of the family. You know, but
Okay. I
they
see.
didn't even know
Mhm.
that. They didn't even know that part.
Right.
So it's like, um, and like I'm gonna have to do it to them and expose them, because it's like, um, I'm tired of like letting I'm tired of letting stuff slide. So even like on
Hmm.
the post, what I said about Gay Hayes and
Yeah.
Dumb Elder,
Hmm.
um, cause he said something slick on Dr. G. Like,
Mm. Mm-mm.
I'm gonna have to expose Dr. G. I'm gonna have to expose Taj Tariq Bey. It's a lot of people that's gonna get it
Wow.
now.
Not Taj
When
Tariq too. Oh
Yeah,
my
I mean,
goodness.
yeah.
That's a
Okay.
shame. It's just so many. It's just like doesn't, you were talking earlier about how um on their calendar, the time of knowing or the celestial age of things being revealed, truth being revealed. And
Right.
that spiritual concept as above, so below could be moving on you to go ahead and expose these things.
Nah, I
You
got
know
the
what I'm saying?
it was like
Hmm.
I got that I have to be in submission to.
Right, right. I see you.
So
Hmm.
it's like, like I have to allow certain things to happen. Okay, like what everybody saw me go through with the Atlanta child murders, right? And how
Hmm.
these people that were supposed to be with me and we were supposed to be working together,
Hmm.
and they went out and lied on me so much so that I had to go to court about it. I had to go to criminal court and civil court. They
Mm-mm.
the woman who lied on me, okay, she done admitted one of the family members, the Atlanta child murders, that she related to one of the most infamous clan families.
Mm.
So it's
Wow.
like all of these people
Hmm.
that are trying to protect their family name and their family legacy, and they don't want to know that my great uncle that I love so much was, you know, somebody who was, you know, engaged in Jeffrey Epstein,
Mm.
type of
Hmm.
behavior,
Right.
and was actually connected to what happened to these children in Atlanta.
Hmm.
So now this great uncle in the family, or this great great uncle in the family, that everybody looked at a certain type of way, they got to be looked at differently.
Hmm.
And what was funny about a lot of this stuff is, as it was taking place, when things are going on, you deal with the emotional part of it, and like the betrayal part of it. But if these people didn't do what they did, me and my team would not have figured out everything that we figured out.
Wow.
So, like, life ain't happening to us, it's happening for us a lot. So sometimes we gotta let the process take place so that we can learn what it is we need to learn. We could grow from what it is we need to grow from.
Hmm.
And
Mm.
what I realized, based on, and this is why I said something about the Buster Gay Hayes, because all you do
Mm.
is regurgitate from Dr. York books, homie. You ain't like that for real. And none of y'all like that. None of y'all like that as far as if we was in the same room with one another.
Hmm.
None of y'all like that. And Dr.
Well,
G,
that's a good point that you make because you say often, both in your books and in your works like this recording, you often say that people need to study for themselves. They're not coming up with
right,
anything new. They're
right,
not reading the books that Dr. York wrote. I mean, or studied himself. They're not even well versed on the references to your books.
right. But
Why are
but the
they not
problem,
reading and letting the spiritual aspects of the celestial seas and that energy speak to them to where they can come up with new revelation,
right,
new
but see,
understandings, things we have not heard before?
right. But see, what it is that when people are dogmatic and they're not free and they not gods already,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
See, if
Mm.
you a peon, you gonna stay a peon. If you don't, like, you could read it. If
Mhm.
you not reading it the right way, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
Right. Right. Mhm.
You understand? Like,
Yeah.
am I okay? Why am I what we have to start thinking about is this, okay? Why am I having this interaction with anybody you meet?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because anybody that you meet is a teacher. Even if you're the most informed person and you're the most knowledgeable person, they're still teaching you something,
Right.
right? This is why um we have to get outside of trying to teach or uh, bring forth information to be benefiting us in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Right.
most people that have knowledge and they gain what they consider to be enlightenment, they
Mm-hmm.
use it for their selfish reasons.
Right.
They use it for self-serving reasons. And what they
Mm-hmm.
don't realize is that when a God like me see you, homie, I
Mm-hmm.
listen to you and I peep your play because I knew you
Mm-hmm.
was fraud as soon as you said what you said about you gonna get the nation of Islam to train our people. I already knew you was Nation of Islam. I already knew that whole little operation with you and Dumb Elder. This dude, Dumb Elder, be calling himself Haru in 2-3. How long I been put when we been doing these
Now
stream,
that's
y'all?
yours right there. That anybody that knows you know that's you.
But see, this what they do, and this is what I mean. See,
Mm-hmm.
and I already know where y'all got it from. They got it from an excerpt in Red Pill Alchemy that I put on my
Mm-hmm.
website, Supreme Science.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But see, if you didn't get the book, you don't know the whole essence of two
Mm-hmm.
three. You
Yes.
only know what I put in the article, homie.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
that's
they're
all
just
you are
using
is
it
a
on the surface level, not even able to give an understanding of what it actually means. Mm-hmm. I see.
so it's like when it's all said and done, they might have knew what Dr. York wrote about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they might have got the article, but if you didn't read my book, you still and even if you read my book, you
Mm-hmm.
still don't got the whole equation because
Mm-hmm. Yes.
it's like this right here. Everything that I'm putting in my books, when you look at the introduction to Supreme Science, what did I say? I have purposely left things out so that you, the reader, can go do more research about whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. This book.
So it's like for these people, you serving the devil, homie, and you selling your soul to try to stop an anointed one, and you still ain't gonna be
Mm.
able to do it
Wow.
because now, and I'll let it be known when this eclipse. That's what I'm saying. When the eclipse came, my people said, "Yeah, go ahead and press play on them."
Mm-hmm.
So for Umar Johnson for going out there and talking about Jimi Hendrix, my relative, my family,
Mm. I didn't know he did that. What did he?
yeah, he went out on some interview and said Jimi Hendrix, why they want to stop Jimi Hendrix? Jimi Hendrix wanted to fund the Black Panthers. Who where you learned that from, Umar?
Mm.
And let me know you read my books.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a group of you reading my books and they're saying, hey, young elder,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Rod Hayes,
Yeah.
hey, Umar Johnson, hey, 88 Sleaze,
Mm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. I
And
got you.
this is how, like, with all of these people, they unproven. I
Mm-hmm.
can say what I'm saying because I stand on
Mm-hmm.
solid ground. Anybody that knows Dwayne Hendricks,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna say, man, I don't know nobody more solid than bro.
That's it. Now, that's truth. That's
No, but I'm saying like my real friends in
right.
life.
Mm-hmm. I know who've been through things with you,
Right.
who've seen you
Right.
through different
Right.
ups and downs, through
Right.
experiences.
Right. Right.
I knew what you meant. Mm.
And see, the thing about it is that all my guys, we got 40-year relationships, 30-year relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? 15-year relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't gonna be no wavering and none of that. And like I'm really one of them ones from my section.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From zone one, west side Atlanta, in the era that I was doing what I was doing. I'm one of them ones.
Right. Right.
Yeah, Big Bread,
Mhm. Mhm.
Name Rain.
Mhm.
Yeah, bruh came through this day and this, came through that day and that, and then came through in another day and that.
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
remember when bruh had fell off for a minute and he came back in 6 months and he was in the brand new Beamer and them type of
Mm.
stories about me.
Right. Mhm.
So that's why if you notice, you ain't gonna never see me talking about I need a Cash App, I need a Venmo, I
Mhm.
need a Zelle, I need PayPal, none of that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, because you always say just buy my products, my books, and that will support me.
If
Uh,
you
Study
read
them.
my books,
Look and
if you
study them.
if you read my books and come back and ask me the necessary questions, I
Mhm.
know we align for life
Exactly.
because where you gonna go mentally once you read
Mhm.
my books, you're not gonna be able to pay attention to that goofy stuff over there no more,
Right.
especially because I know where the source of what you're talking about is coming from.
Right. Your other book.
And this is the thing. See, I've been reading since the 90s,
Mhm.
so uh uh I had already read Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys by Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu before Umar
Yes,
Johnson showed up on the scene.
that's right. And when Dr. Kawanza Kunjufu was out, Dr. Naeem Akbar was out as well.
Right,
And he wrote Black Excellence, Black Men. Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
He wrote a few books. Breaking the I read the Breaking the Psychological Chains of Slavery.
Yes. I had that one
Yeah, I read that book in like
back in the day.
96,
Yeah.
97.
That's what I was going to say back in the day.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I knew about Ivan Van Sertima before the millennium.
Hmm. Say that. Now, Ivan Van Sertima, people don't know, is he actually appeared before the World Congress to dispute that Columbus discovered America.
Right.
He went against that, and there were many death threats on him. I actually hosted him one time at an event here at a
Yeah.
school.
He
Hmm.
wrote he wrote the book that came before Columbus. That was
Right.
like his most popular work.
Hmm.
You know, uh one of my elders that was guiding me at one point in my life, he was a student of Dr. John Henry Clark,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
he had old tapings of John Henry Clark from I don't know how far back.
Wow.
And I had been exposed to all of that like '01,
Hmm.
2000. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Like you say, late 90s, early
right,
2000s.
right. So it's like when all of these people start popping up
Hmm.
and they come with the regurgitation. Oh, that's Dr. York. Oh, yeah, that's like Umar Johnson is Francis Cress Wilson, Amos Wilson, Neely Fuller, and Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu.
Mm. Okay. I see. Uh-huh.
You see what I'm
Mhm. And
saying?
also,
Like,
now Dr. Richard Wright too. You remember the book Biological Psychiatry of Melanin? Because that
I
was the
didn't read
first
that one.
time back at the same
I
time.
I read I think I read a book that Layla Africa wrote about melanin. I never read that book though.
Yeah, Layla Africa just passed away, what, 2 years ago?
2, 3, something like that. Yeah.
That is an excellent book. Now, when you talk about the symbology, how he goes into, when you were talking about the symbology of the checkerboard and the chess game, he really goes into that in his book,
Right.
Dr. Layla Africa.
Right.
Some of the game, and even the fact that the games from ancient times had a deeper metaphysical function. They were meant to be more than games.
Right.
They
Well,
were
the chess,
actually
the
vehicles.
game of chess, the game of chess came from an comedic game or
Mhm.
Tamaran game called Senet,
Sinette, yeah, yeah.
and it was
Some new.
about It was about the cycle of Mars.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Right. It had red and green pieces because it was about the cycles of Venus and the cycles of Mars.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know that
Because
part.
Venus and Mars are the two planets that start the zodiac. Aries is
Okay.
ruled by Mars and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So that's
Yeah.
Abraham and Moses.
Right. And I
Right.
just wanted to say that when you just said that that's Abraham and Moses, I just wanted to point out something for people who are watching who have not read your books or who have not studied some of the activists that you just talked about or read their books. Um, because I think when I converse with people and I'm trying to tell them certain things about these studies, a lot of people don't seem to be aware of what you said earlier in the show, which is the fact that the Bible has multiple levels of understanding. So it has the
Right.
bottom level, which is what took place on the earth or what they feel took place on the earth. And then there's higher levels like the esoteric level, then even more levels like the symbology. What are the symbols that they're trying to communicate? So on each level is a different level of understanding of what was put there. And I don't think most people are aware of that. And that's where the resistance comes in when they're learning new information because they're not aware of the fact that all of these levels of interpretation are true all at once. For instance, I give an example. Okay, you were talking about Yeshua. They had the star, to mark certain times and seasons. So he had supposedly his own star. So then you go into the meanings of those stars, how, like you said, the universal concept as above, so below. A lot of people are not aware that we have our own stars in what we call space. The ancients used to call it the celestial seas. And as we live out our life on earth, it's also written in the stars. So it's happening in both places at the same time. As my life, your life is playing out here, it's also playing out in space or the celestial seas. And I don't think that most people understand that that's where their resistance, they can't learn because they're not understanding that this one thing, a real universal truth, does have different levels of truth within it. And I think that's where they trip up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most true spiritual teaching is ambiguous,
Mhm. Do you think it
and
was ambiguous because they didn't want people to know? Like the same reason that parables were created, because those
no,
who weren't really seeking it wouldn't ever really get it?
no, because I mean, in order for people to truthfully learn everything the right way, you had to be initiated into a priesthood, and then you had to be taught for 30 years,
Mhm.
you know, and
Mhm.
that 30 years coincides with Saturn.
Mhm. Mhm.
30 it's also a 30-year cycle of Mars,
Mhm.
right? And Moors
Mm.
came from
Mhm.
Mars. So even when you look at some of the symbolism of Noble Drew Ali, who was funded by Julian Rosenthal, by the way. I'm
Mm.
tired of playing with
Okay.
all these folk. I'm tired
I
of
didn't
playing with
know
these.
that. Mhm.
Yeah. Just like
Hmm.
Marcus Garvey was funded by a man named Plecker, Joseph Plecker, I think it
Mm.
was, right?
Okay.
And a lot of indigenous people were classified because they
Mhm.
followed Marcus Garvey.
What's
Just
misclassified
like,
mean?
well, they lost their indigenous status.
Oh, because they wanted to go to Africa. Is that why?
Yeah.
I know now they do a dual citizenship, but
In
but
some
that's to the
countries.
corporation. So yeah.
But yeah, but in some countries, but see what we don't want is we don't want to be citizens because when this corporation was created, it was
Mhm.
created to be combative against its citizens.
Mhm.
So
That's
that's
right.
why they tax you the way that they tax you.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yes.
So it's like when you look at it, what are the benefits of being a US citizen?
Right. And before you proceed with that, I just wanted to say for the people who, again, have not studied these things, that what he's taught, what Heru is discussing, is the fact that
Oh
the
shit.
United States of America is, in fact, a corporation. It's not a nation, it's a
Right,
corporation. And the president is the CEO of the United States of America Corporation, and its
right,
citizens. Mhm.
right. It's a nation state, actually. That's what it is. And DC is a nation state. The Vatican is a nation state.
Mhm.
And the city in London is a nation state.
Right. And so most
DC,
people from that are not aware that there's two names to each nation. So they have their nation state name, but then they have the name of the landmass. And I think that confuses people too.
all right.
So could you tell everyone what the name of this landmass was before the whites came here or the Europeans?
Turtle Island.
Mhm. Yeah.
Turtle Island. And
Mhm.
uh
I know China is the nation state name of Manchuria, and Puerto Rico is the nation state name of the island of Borincana. So I hope from that people will know that each nation has a corporate name and they have the natural name of the landmass. And so when you were talking, Heru, about being constructive or deconstructive, I
mhm,
think it was a great point that you brought out when you said that a lot of people, when they're even in the conscious community, when they're doing these different things, their motives are not pure, that they're doing it for self gain, but they're not doing it truly for the uplifting of our people or even for their own knowledge and advancement. Like you and I are both people I want to know for real. I don't want to be it's a waste of my time to be reading something or doing something just for the sake of doing it or for money or whatever, because what is that ultimately going to get me? Nothing, ultimately. Money is a tool that we can use to advance certain things, but there are limits on that. And I think that especially within this landmass of North America, things are out of balance with that.
right,
There is a place for it, but it shouldn't be number one.
right, right.
So I
And
think we all
especially
have to ask ourselves, are we being constructive or deconstructive?
right, destructive, definitely. And even more so, like the original question, it applies to men as well because men love women from a destructive place versus a constructive place.
Mm,
So
mhm.
like
Do you
beta
think that's from
male,
a lack of knowledge of what women are really
oh,
for?
it's just beta males have been conditioned to try to control women. So
Mhm,
like what a beta male will do is like they won't put their woman in a position to succeed. They'll
mhm,
rather like get them pregnant at an early age and have them
mhm.
dependent on them financially, you know,
Mm,
so that like they can always have a control in this woman's life, right?
wow. Okay.
Even more so when you start to look at like certain, let's say, entertainers in the
Mhm,
industry, like they have to be attached to somebody that's controlling their career,
mhm,
you know.
mhm,
And when they become too big, like for
mhm,
instance, when they become too big and then they actually are divine, like Lauren Hill,
Mhm.
we got to
Mhm.
shut this shit down.
That's right.
Stop
And
this
see,
shit. No,
when
no,
you
no, we
said
can't.
that, I never knew that. I never knew that all people in the public light, who are quote unquote stars or on the
Oh yeah,
news or on television, that all of them had to be connected to a parent corporation. I never knew that. And so you're
oh
saying when
yeah,
they're not connected to that, then they try to get rid of them when they really have the light in them, like
oh
Lauren
yeah,
Hill.
yeah. So it's like when you look at why you think like somebody like Andre 3000 just pretty much walked
Mhm,
away from and
mhm,
then when you start to look at all of the people that are in that mode, even like right now, what people don't understand with the whole thing, it's funny to me because I be understanding, and to me, Kendrick Lamar music has always been trash. He'll always be trash, and he like the most overrated rapper probably ever to me. But what they doing to J. Cole right now is a humiliation ritual.
mm. Is
It's a
that right?
humiliation ritual for J. Cole because
Mm,
J. Cole didn't go to I'ma do the gay homosexual rituals like Meek
mhm,
Mills,
mhm, mhm,
like
mhm,
Kendrick.
mhm,
When you see Kendrick all hugged up with the game and he Dr.
mhm,
Dre and he doing interviews with Quincy Jones, yeah, okay.
mhm.
All right, homie.
And see, that's another
Okay,
thing I think people are not aware of is most of the people in these industries on television, a lot of these rappers are gay, but they're just pretending.
yeah, I mean, it's sad because it's like um all people got to do is look at the interview that Quincy Jones did a few years ago because he talked about how all of these black celebrities was having sex with Marlon Brando. I think it was like James Baldwin, Marvin Gaye, and somebody else.
Say
Right.
that. See, people don't
Okay.
know Marvin Gaye too. Was
Right.
like that. Hmm.
Right. Right. But see, like a lot of the most genius people, they have all of those that conflicted stuff going on because they tormented souls,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
Um, you listen to the homie Keefy D, which I don't see no reason why Keefy D had to lie about it. He said when he first saw Tupac and Puffy together, they looked like they was a couple.
Hmm. Mm.
And you look at old interviews of Tupac and he
Mm.
doing all this and he
Mm.
my
Mhm.
mom raised me and he all you know what I mean? I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, that makes sense.
Mhm. Mhm.
Performing arts, school,
Yeah,
but then
that's
when
where he
he
was.
turned on stuff, fuck out of here. I can't
Mhm.
even listen to it like most of
Mhm.
them no
Mhm.
more.
Mhm.
You know,
And Jada Pinkett went to the same school he did, didn't she? Because I know when she first came on a different world, she was acting very manly herself.
man.
Mhm.
You know,
You know, when you
you
talk
you
about the
listen to what
Chris
Jaguar
Rock.
Wright. If this is Jaguar Wright, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith was the ones turning out the people like Meek Mill, and
Mm.
she said that years ago about Meek
Mm.
Mill.
See, that made me sad when I read
She
that, how
said,
they treated him. That's some
they
crap
said
right there.
that about Bashir Gray and a whole bunch of other people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to answer this right here. This person said I thought DC was not a state, and I don't know why it's coming up Facebook user like that. But DC is not a state like other the 51 states. It's a nation state, so
Right.
it's different. A
Mm-hmm.
nation state
Legally, it's different.
basically means it's a sovereign entity.
Right.
So you only have three of them. You have the Vatican, which controls all the religion in the world, and all of the three monotheistic religions are controlled by the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
And contrary to popular belief, the people who names rhyme with blues and Jews, they basically created the Catholic Church, the Jesuit order. The main person who was one of the main authors of the Bible Joseph Flavius Piso was
Mm-hmm.
one of the blues that rhyme with news people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The actual Pope that became the Pope in 1492 was Sephardic,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is the Spanish form. You have multiple forms of the people that rhyme with blues and news. I'm getting ready to like lay it all out
Mm-hmm.
in
Right.
alchemy too, to make
Yeah.
it comprehensible, and I'm gonna show
Mm-hmm.
like the places they went. For instance, the
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine is getting all this money that it's getting, but
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine's ancient name is Khazaria. Khazaria came from Khazar.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get the German word Kaiser. So
Mm-hmm.
now you know what Kaiser Permanente and companies like
Mm-hmm.
the Khazars is like the Eastern European, Russian, Georgian, German version of um the blues and news people.
Mm-hmm.
So I could pretty much predict what's gonna happen in the world. They gonna make it seem like uh the people in Israel lost the war against the people in Palestine, because what people don't understand is the people that look like the Palestinians and the Saudi Arabians and all that type of stuff, they really the blues news people too, but they just a different branch.
Right. And see, I think that's where confusion also comes in, which has to be
Right,
cleared up, is the people who rhyme with blues news, that there are different groups. I think a
right,
lot of people, especially melanated people, think there's only one group. So they
right,
think that when we're saying things about the blues news people, that we're
right,
going against something holy,
right,
but they're not recognizing that there are people who were not connected to the ancient Hebrew people who were melanated, who are calling themselves
right,
blues news. And
right,
that's where you get into the different groups. Like you just said, the Sephardic blues news, then you have the Ashkenazim blues news, then there are the ancient Hebrews, but those are all different groups of people. And
right. So
so
like
the
where the
European
where
blues
the
news, a lot of people don't know, is from the Ukraine, which you said was Khazaria, correct?
right,
Okay.
right,
Because a lot of people don't know that. And
right.
they get so upset. They're like, you can't go against. And I'm thinking, these people are not even, they're
What's
fake.
the last four letters of Ashkenazi?
Exactly. Nazi.
Yeah,
And they're not aware that those Nazi people from Khazaria, which is today called Ukraine, are the people in charge of American news stations, Hollywood,
the government,
financial institutions,
the music
even the
industry,
military. Mhm.
the government. They controlling the government. It's 33 of them in government
Mhm.
power.
I didn't know that. 33 what now?
It's 33 different blues news people in government. For instance, that lady who everybody likes, they call her IAC or something like that.
Mhm.
She like
Okay,
a congresswoman or something like that.
let me see.
But she's Sephardic.
Oh, see? Mhm.
She a
Mhm.
Spaniard. So like even like when you remember Gladiator, Spaniard, 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 people
Mhm.
didn't even understand what that really was all about. But they gonna get it when they read Red Pill Alchemy too.
Mhm. But
Yeah,
that is one thing that I wish would be cleared up so bad, because I feel that they use that confusion and deception to get melanated people rooting for something they should not be rooting for, that they don't realize is against them, because
right,
they're thinking the ancient Hebrew people who were melanated in the Bible are the same people overseas today fighting that war.
Right.
And it's not the same. It's
Well,
not the same.
the problem is that like people don't understand that that wasn't a term until they made up the religion. Like
It's right.
like when you understand that Israel is Isis Ra El, and that was a trinity of Isis wanting the sacred word of Ra to get the El, the source,
Mm-hmm.
which was about it was an allegory,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a sacred teaching about Amen or Amun, which means the hidden one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the Blues News people, when they created the religion, they said that they started to call God by the name Hashem.
Okay.
The quote unquote children of Israel in the story started to call the word God by the word Hashem. And then
Mm.
they said it just meant the name.
Right.
But
Yes.
name is an anagram
Mm-hmm.
for amen.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm.
And see, like Rod Hayes, Dr. York ain't never talk about this, homie. I ain't regurgitating like what you be doing. Don't ever play with me, Buster. I'm
That's
gonna let
right.
it be
Say
known, and I'm gonna start walking it down. And Dr. G, I'm so ashamed of you for having them busters up there on your live stream.
that.
This buster, okay, when we talk about all of the paperwork that we need to get ourselves up out of the matrix, he used to say, he used to say, what he used to say, don't worry about the paperwork. Now you talking about the paperwork, and you up here with this woman who's supposed to be the matriarch of the land. Boy, if you don't get the fuck out of here with that.
That's right. That's
And
it.
what bothered me about all this stuff is that when you start talking about the paperwork and everything else, see, people could get jammed up and get prison sentences and all kind of stuff be happening to people because they don't really know what's going on, and they just blindly following these people who been put in their face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you talking about you gonna get the NOI,
Mm-hmm.
and you out here regurgitating when they be showing him and the dumb elder when they
Mm-hmm.
like when dumb elder did his little skill about our hair follicles. Fool said it's some of the most power. Our hair is the most powerfulest stuff in the universe. The most powerfulest.
No, don't say that. Oh my goodness.
Brother minister, y'all could have recruited know how to talk.
That's awful.
Then they be over here doing the live streams with this boy Phase One. And
Mm-hmm.
Phase One, he said that he related to the Bodie family, and they was ops in the whole thing that went down with Dr. York.
Mm-hmm.
Woman who called herself Don Coleon, right?
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
her real name Tara Bodie.
Mm.
Like she was being
Okay.
accused of like stealing a bunch of money and all kind of stuff. All of
Mm.
that went down. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
getting involved like with a
Mm.
lot of the stuff that happened with them because
Mm-hmm.
they a bunch of weirdos and space cadets, and
Mm-hmm.
all they try
Mm-hmm.
to do is like try
Mm-hmm.
to make it seem like they know more than the next person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they'll always come to you and be like, "Well, how many stages of the B root is it, brother?" And what they don't understand is that it don't matter how much of his books that you could regurgitate if you can't apply it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you ain't elevating nobody and you ain't
Right.
becoming a god. All you doing is
Mm-hmm.
regurgitating what he wrote in the book. Come on, man. Anybody can read something and then regurgitate
Mm-hmm.
what they read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but see, that goes back to what you said about is a person being constructive or deconstructive?
Right,
Because if they really were coming from a pure heart, they would say, okay, like say if they really don't know, they don't have the understanding of what they've been reading in these different books, even from your books. If they don't
right,
have the understanding, but they want to teach it, then be honest and say, hey, I'd like to teach what's in Red Pill Alchemy. I'd like to teach what's in Supreme Science. I want to teach what Dr. Kawanza Kunjufu or Dr. Naeem Akbar or the different ones. But be honest about teaching their materials.
right, right. Yeah, because I'm tired of seeing people like I don't Pam, it done been people who take my whole like something I say in a whole thread
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll go make a video.
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm. Like
before
they
me,
came up with it.
like, I'm big Heru. Before
Mm-hmm.
me, it wasn't no conscious community brothers talking about Pythagorean gematria
Mm-hmm.
and talking about numerology and stuff the
Mm-hmm.
way that now you see all of the content with all these people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
One of
That's
my folks was like, she was like, damn, Dwayne. She was like, my bad. And I was like, what you talking about? She was like, man, you so ahead of your time. She was like, this dude sound deep to
right.
me to impress me now, and they don't realize that you taught me the same shit that they talking about in 2009
That's
and
right.
2010. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
like I'm letting it be known, playtime is over. Humble Dwayne is gone.
Playtime is over, people. That's right. You have to bring out the truth because this is
But
the end of
but
knowing.
it
So you have to bring out the truth.
even about the truth because what is the truth? The truth is a matter of perception. The truth don't matter sometimes. That's why when it all boils down to it, that's why some people like Brother Polite got so far with deceiving people.
Mm,
Johnson got so far with deceiving people because the truth really understand
mm-hmm,
like knowledge really don't matter.
mm,
See,
mm-hmm,
what matters is the transformation
mm-hmm,
through
mm-hmm,
the truth and knowledge that you obtain. Because that process from you becoming the initiate
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and the transformation that you make to become a god or a goddess, right, is the wisdom.
mm-hmm.
What's knowledge without wisdom?
That's right.
Wisdom, wisdom is what you learn along the way to apply the knowledge.
Yes. And how to
So,
apply it.
so
Mm-hmm.
gay, so gay Hayes, when you said what you said the other night, boy, I'm the anointed one and the appointed one.
Mm-hmm.
The old man said,
Right.
for you to be a Cressa Messa, you have to be an anointed one from a royal bloodline.
Yes.
My lineage and my bloodline is royal beyond measure.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest dude to ever do this ever, ever touch one of them. Big injury.
That's right.
So,
Exactly right.
man, like you over there saying that slick stuff with Dr. G and you let him say it, Dr. G,
Mm.
and I'm gonna start spanking babies. Like I
Yep.
said, Taj Tariq Bey can't do nothing with me.
Lord.
I could end him in one video because all I gotta say is, Pam, how long you been around and why are people still oppressed? See, all of these people that's been in front of us this whole time, they ain't nothing but gatekeepers.
Yep.
If Taj Tariq Bey was a threat to anything white supremacy has created, they would have been got him out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the books that he wrote?
Mm-hmm.
Where is the product of what it is he's done? All he does is get on a live stream and talk.
Mm-hmm.
with an ugly ass afro in that damn
Mhm.
fed.
Mhm.
The Moorish Science Temple is the Horus Science Temple,
Mhm.
and it's controlled by the Nation of Islam now.
Mhm.
People don't see the program. People don't see that
Mhm.
all of these rappers, they're supposed to be deep
Mhm.
and supposed to like have a message or supposed to be like benevolent, like Busta Rhymes, Nation of Islam, always has been.
Mhm.
The 5%ers still controlled by the Nation of Islam.
Mhm.
Moorish Science Temple controlled by the Nation of Islam.
Mhm. Mhm. And the Nation of Islam is controlled by who?
Scientology and the CIA. Well, you might as well say the CIA.
See, that's what a lot of people don't realize. They think
Yeah,
that the
like
Nation of Islam is
right.
independent.
Master fraud. Muhammad was a drug dealer. I could go through the whole history of it. If that was the answer, we would be free by now.
Right.
It still wouldn't be no Tamir Rice.
Mhm.
Still wouldn't be no Sandra Bland.
Mhm.
All the stuff that's happening to our people, it wouldn't be happening.
Mhm.
Farrakhan got up there at the Million Man March and said, next time you put a hand on one of our babies, I'm sending 10,000 soldiers. And the next week, when they showed that man jumping on that little girl in that classroom, ain't nothing happened.
Mm. My
They
God.
got the infrastructure to do it, but they ain't gonna do nothing to nobody white. They'll come threaten me though,
Mhm.
but you can't threaten somebody that ain't afraid of death.
It's true. That's right.
You can't threaten me, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like, and like in the book, I'm about to explain to people like how the Nation of Islam had got all these people that'll kill you. That's
Mhm.
what they was showing in
Mm.
the TV show The Wire
Mhm.
with Brother
Mhm. Mm.
Muzone.
Okay. I didn't know that actually. That's interesting.
Yeah, in the TV show
Mhm.
The Wire, one of the drug dealers, Avon Barksdale, he recruits
Mhm.
a guy named Brother Muzone to come into Baltimore to
Mhm.
be like muscle.
Mm. Okay.
And like
Mhm.
all of my guys, this, they'll tell you that the Nation of Islam, it ain't nothing but another set.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just another game.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
what they do, they have people from the Nation of Islam that infiltrate gangs.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Kevin Gates
Mhm.
from Louisiana, he got locked up in
Mm.
Chicago. And some of my people in
Mhm.
Chicago tell me that Kevin
Mhm.
Gates a black stone now.
Mhm. 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 Hmm. I
Jay
didn't know.
Electronica,
Mhm.
Jay Electronica had a baby with Erica Badu. They broke up. And then the next
Mhm.
thing you know, it was pictures circulating overseas with one of the Rothschilds.
Mhm.
He came back to the States and Islam uniform on.
Mm.
Needed to
What?
make Islam younger. People don't see that. They needed to make the Nation Islam younger. If you go back 10, 15 years ago, it's number old
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
now all these young people because they done brought all of the rappers, Busta Rhymes and Rick Ross got a song called Master Fraud Muhammad together.
Mhm. 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 I haven't listened to that, but yeah. I heard about it. I haven't listened
Yeah,
to it. I need to
yeah.
listen to that.
Like,
Mhm. Just to
but
see,
but but it's like people don't okay. Jay-Z at one point was wearing the 5%.
Mhm. Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
people don't see
Mhm.
the game in your face, and that's how they hide it in plain sight. But
Mm. Mhm. Yeah.
but I promise this right here, see through it all.
Mhm.
When Red Pill Alchemy come through,
When is it coming out, Haru?
I'm not done with it. I'm
So everybody, he's talking about part two of Red Pill Alchemy. This is volume 1. Heru is currently writing volume 2, soon to be released.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean,
One thing I notice, even in teaching, is sometimes people don't know what they don't know.
mm-hmm.
That's why we all have to be humble. Like you were saying that knowledge doesn't matter. Well, somebody might say, well, why is that? Because we're always adding to our knowledge. But those who think that one book has everything in it, they close their minds to the fact that they have other things, even within that they're not aware of. They think that their understanding of it or overstanding of it is the complete picture. But I think that we all have to be humble. And even as people are reading your books, and know that we don't know everything while we're in these bodies. We are divine beings. Earlier, when Heru was saying that we're gods, we are gods. And for those who are doing their biblical studies, that would be in Psalms chapter 82, Psalm 86, and John chapter 10. Ye are gods, sons and daughters of the Most High. What does that mean? That we're spirit beings temporarily in a body. We came out of the supreme spirit being of the universe, and we are temporarily in these bodies, and we'll be leaving these bodies. And while we're in these bodies, we have to stay humble and know that everything that is truth, we're constantly learning what that is. And it's constantly being redefined, not because truth ever changes, because truth never changes. Facts change. Facts change. But truth never changes. But it's the fact that, or it's the truth that our perception of it does change because we don't have all of the truth. Even when people say, heard so many of our melanated people say, well, I have the Bible, I know everything, but you're not even aware of the different levels of teaching within that. You don't even know that there are different levels of teaching right in that. So we all
Right.
have to just be open to learning. And I really applaud you, Heru, for taking a step out because you really are before your time as far as this knowledge and even on the wisdom as to how to apply it. And I just want to applaud you for because that takes some courage. That takes a lot of courage. You all that may not recognize that a lot of people don't want to hear truth. They don't want our people to go forward. They are being destructive, and they're not elevating anybody. But Heru is stepping out, and a lot of people don't want our people to know what it is, but they can't stop it because this is the constellation cosmic age of things being revealed and of knowing. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
why he says he's
But look,
anointed to do what he's doing because
yeah,
he's anointed to
ain't no stopping
expose
this.
the truth.
Ain't no stopping this. But
No
look,
stopping.
I'm just giving you a preview. I'm just giving you a preview of kind of like what it's looking like.
That's right. That's right.
So it says, make note that the box of Pandora is also a cube. Pandora is a moon of Saturn, and Saturn is also allegorically displayed as a cube. Pandora's box being connected to Saturn/Satan is why the box contained misery and evil. The character in iconic television show Gunsmoke is also named after the Greek god Hephaestus. In this story, the deity is that was plagiarized from the Kemetic predecessor Ptah. Ptah is also where the biblical character Tubal Cain comes from. Tubal Cain also applies to Freemason symbolism and the Facebook logo. So that's supposed to be his Vestus. And that's your Facebook symbol. And there's Tubal Cain. There's also Thor, and it all came from Ptah. So I'll stop. I ain't gonna go no further. And I actually need you muted. You muted. You're muted. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, you was
So I just,
talking.
you're right. You're so right. I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that you just gave the background on that. And that's what people don't see as well. That all of these things, including the Bible, have a background. The book was only put together, I believe it was what, in 1100. But those things from North, it might not be 1100. I probably got the wrong date. What was it, Heru?
Well, I mean, it depends because you got the Ethiopian Bible, then you got other Bibles that predated the King James version. So it's just like,
Mhm.
you know,
But it was
and
in recent times.
that's another trick that like the Hebrew Israelites and stuff be using, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And
And they don't
um
realize that some of those documents, or at least the basis for some of those documents in the Bible and in these other books, existed before those books existed in North
yeah,
Africa.
like yeah, all of it existed
Mhm.
before. I mean, like another thing I'm gonna say real quick and then I gotta get off here because I'm getting sleepy. But
Okay.
Krishna, right? Krishna, right?
Mhm.
The Hebrew teachings or the oral history of the Hebrew teachings is supposed to be the Mishnah.
Mm. Okay.
I
Right. I
mean, it's
see.
it's no it's no end to it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but we don't got a lot to learn. We got a lot to unlearn, as my brother, the great AZ Faison says.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been so awesome. So, is there anything in this particular broadcast you had wanted to say you did not get a chance to say?
Well, I just wanted to reiterate that whole point about the destructive womb versus the constructive womb, and the fact that um we have to, and even destructive, should I say destructive love versus constructive love,
Mhm.
um to
I would like
understand.
to expound upon that next time. Can we come back with that?
Yeah, we could do part two. I don't That's one of the things that's so hard for me to do, is just stick to the subject matter.
It's okay that on part two, you know, but please go ahead and complete your thought. You were saying about
Let me say
constructive.
this. Let me say this. The reason like the subject matter never gets stuck to, because like everybody wants shit to be like this deep philosophical, mystical, magical, but really like the truth is real simple. With
Mm.
all of this stuff, the truth is real simple. So like, remember you asked me like, why is Vladimir Putin showing the black Jesus now? Cause they trying to keep niggas religious, shouted. That's all it is. Like they trying to keep people like, oh, we gotta do more research into the mountains of Russia to find. Come on,
And see, that's another
Putin,
confusion.
Putin, you just now figuring that out, homie. Putin, you just now figured that out, homie.
Of course, we know that, they've
Come
known all
on, homie.
these things for hundreds of years.
Come on, homie.
Oh.
Just like, okay, another one that I want to leave with the people.
Mhm.
Barack Obama didn't know that Harvey Weinstein was involved in this stuff so much that
See, there
his
you
daughter
go.
he
That's
let his
right.
daughter do an internship for Harvey Weinstein.
Mhm.
So we saying no Diddy, we need to be saying no Barack. No Barack and Michelle.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Or
But
no
see what
Barack
you
and Big Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you could go there because it's just like, okay, how would Barack Obama not know that Harvey Weinstein was doing all this stuff? How
Say
would the
that.
president not know that?
That's right. And so people don't see that when they bring stuff on the news, that they have an agenda behind what they're actually putting on the news. Because there's a whole lot of real news that they don't ever put on there.
Right. Why why is it okay for Russell's daughter to be with that old ass man?
Mm.
Man older than Russell, I think.
Yeah.
And he was already old as hell when he got with your mama, Shawty. Come on now. These folk hell, man. No Diddy, no cheap meal. These folk hell.
Oh my goodness.
But y'all folk in the conscious community, y'all hell too, boy. Gay Hayes and Dumb Elder, y'all hell, boy. I promise you, but
Mm.
Big Hey Roo gonna spank all
Mm.
the babies. I promise
He means that figuratively.
you. Yeah.
Look.
Yep. Yep.
But that's
For sure.
another thing that people feel confused about. Hey, Rue, when I talk to him, I know you got to go. But I just wanted to
Mhm.
say this because I hear over and over the same things from different people. And these
What's
are the
that?
things that have to be cleared up for our people to move forward. They don't understand or overstand there's a difference between having a relationship with the supreme being of the universe and having a religion that is an organization with an agenda. That's two different things.
Right.
So when Heru is
Right.
talking about certain things with the church or the Vatican or the organized religion, he's not saying not to have a spiritual You can't not have a spiritual relationship, whether it's good or bad, because we are spirits. So even
But
our
we're
relationship
a
to each
replica.
other have a spiritual component.
We're a replica. We're a replica of the universe. So literally, like everything that it took to make the universe, like when the Big Bang took place, that created the sun and all the shit that we know to exist, is the
Mm-hmm.
same Big Bang that took place in your mama
Mm-hmm.
when the sperm hit the ovum.
Right.
And everything about us as we grow is how the universe expanded. I mean, I could go on and on about that. So we could talk about that on another live stream too.
We should talk about that one day. We should talk about how did the universe begin? How it did begin with the Om sound. Om. And then it hit that particle that was smaller than our fingertip. And when the Om sound hit that particle, it burst and all the different galaxies went an equal distance apart mathematically. Mhm.
Omnipotent, omnipresent.
Yes.
I'm in
So,
my home and I'm about to get peace in my dome.
yes, you are.
All right. Next time.
Did
Peace
I
and
do
love,
that the right
everybody.
way?
It don't matter. Peace and love,
Thank you.
everybody. All
Thank
right.
you for having me on. Much honor
Definitely.
and peace to you.
Hey, gratitude. Namaste. As we
Namaste.
say. Peace.